What's up, boys? So, I'm hopping into some player props today over on Prize Picks. Prize Picks, great website. If you guys aren't already on it, definitely recommend joining. I personally use it all the time for my player props. Use my code DOMG when you guys do sign up. They match your first deposit 100% up to $100. But yeah, we're talking about some player props today for the NBA. So, yesterday was huge day. Super happy about yesterday. Yesterday on the Patreon, if you guys want to join, link is in the description. $10 a month. We've been killing over there, man. Yesterday, we were 7-1-1 on the individual player props, so pretty freaking good. And then on the power plays yesterday, we were 3 for 3. So that means we hit 6 individual props that went to the power plays. So that's 3 extra money, plus 3 extra money, plus 3 extra money on each of those entries. So that was huge yesterday. We killed it. So it was a pretty awesome day yesterday. Really happy about that. So we're bouncing back today, and we're going to keep up this momentum here, but I'll be transparent with this season. Not every day is obviously going to be like that. But this season, we are 15-9 hitting the 2-pick power plays, the entries. So that's 63%. 33% is break even, and we're at 63%. So if you guys put $20 on every single one of those 2-pick power plays, that would be $480, and you would come out with $900. If I did my math right, but I should have. So it'd be $480 to $900. So we're up pretty huge so far on Prize Picks. So that's awesome. For the Patreon, if you guys are interested in joining, again, link is in the description. I've got a lot of new members on there. Seriously do appreciate you guys. And we also have a free Discord down in the description. Yesterday I also put in the Discord. This wasn't on Patreon or anything. I just went in the Discord, found out Bradley Beal was out. I immediately went to the Discord and say, hey, I think Dinwiddie over 12.5 could be a pretty freaking good idea. And he had like 20 points or something. 22 I think it was, or something like that. So if you guys want free updates and stuff like that, join the free Discord that's in the description. But a lot of you guys have been joining that as well. But otherwise, just follow like underdog_NBA or something like that on Twitter. That's what I use, and they give you updates every single time, so you can lock in some quick entries. But yeah, with all those announcements out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Sorry for the really long intro. Just had to get some stuff out there. Pretty happy about yesterday, though. Gonna keep it up today. So let's go ahead and hop into some of these here. So first one here, I got 4-point props, 3 overs, 1 under, and then a rebound prop. So a lot of these are kind of ones that we're keeping up the pace here with some of these older guys that we've been hitting on. So first one here, Jaylen Brown. For some reason, he's dropped down to 29.5. I really don't know why that is. Why he's at 29.5, because he's been at 30.5 the last couple days, but they dropped him in a really good matchup. So he's 5 out of 5 in his last 5. As you can see, he's had 31 in 4 straight games. So this game is going to be more than likely a sweat. So, or this prop is. So kind of be aware of that a little bit. But yeah, 34 against Brooklyn though, averaging 31.6 in his last 5. So let's take a look further into this game here. So Embiid, center going against the Charlotte Hornets, 5.5 point spread, 226.5 over under. By the way, this Embiid play and the next play that's coming up are very popular plays. Very popular plays. Don't exactly have the best track record, but yeah, these are popular plays that I've seen this morning. The other ones are 100% my own, but otherwise I've just seen this like going around from like tons and tons of different people. Is the Jaylen Brown points, especially because of his massive hit rate, which we'll talk about in a second. So everyone's on this already. So, but the Charlotte Hornets here, 26.53 points season long, last 7. The Charlotte Hornets have been a little bit better, it looks like. Yeah, they're a little bit better against the center lately, 21.28 points. But season long, they've been getting destroyed by the center position right there. But yeah, so some quick stats about Jaylen Brown. This is why everyone likes him. It's a 9 out of 10 hit rate in his last 10. He's killed this. He's 50% all season, and he's 2 for 2 against Charlotte. So Charlotte, who's been allowing the most points to the center position season long, he's 2 for 2 against them, and he's 9 out of 10 at hitting at least 30 points in his last 10 games. So that's why a lot of people like him, and understandably so. So could be a pretty good day for Jaylen Brown. I'm just kind of concerned they dropped him down by a point. I don't know why that is. Kind of sketching me out a little bit, but let's go ahead and move on here. The other popular play, let's go ahead and take a look at Christian Wood. A lot of people are liking this play, so I'm going to take a look at this. 17.5 points for him, 14, 22, 20, 22, and 0 in his last 5 games, 15.6 averaging in his last 5. So let's take a look at this here. So Christian Wood, Houston Rockets here, center going against the Spurs. 6-point spread, not bad. Over-under at 232 is very nice. I like that a lot. So center going against the Spurs. Let's take a look at season long points against the Spurs, and they're allowing a pretty good chunk of points to the center position in season long. Let's take a look at the last 7 where the Spurs are at. And the Spurs, just like the Hornets, are a little bit better. 20.05. They're actually on the harder side of points to centers lately. So Hornets and the Spurs have stepped it up pretty recently against the center position. So if you take a look at the last 15 games, the Hornets get a lot worse, and so the Spurs. So I don't know. They've definitely turned up the defense lately, but I'm not sure who they've all gone up against, too. They could have been going up against, like, just straight bums. Like, I don't know, like Dwight Powell. I don't know. Just guys like that. So let's go ahead and move on, though. But yeah, Christian Wood, some stats here. He's 54% hitting this season. He's 7 for 10 in his last 10, and he was 2 for 2 against the Spurs last season. So he's not played the Spurs this season, I don't believe, but he is 2 for 2 last season going against these Spurs. So I think it's a pretty good spot for him considering his hit rate last season, his hit rate in his last 10 games. And it seems like a pretty good matchup, but last 7 they have been pretty good. So kind of be aware of that, but the over-under is really, really nice as well. So should be a little bit of a high-scoring game, which is always good for taking overs. All right, let's take a look at our third and final over here. And let's take a look at one that I like. He's pretty consistent with this number. It's Jarrett Allen. So Jarrett Allen here. I'm thinking it's going to be a tougher matchup against Utah, but we'll take a look. No Rudy Gobert. So, yeah, this might be a good spot for Jarrett Allen. But 16.5 points here. 18, 12, 13, 22, and 18 in his last 5. So he just needs 17 points today against the Utah Jazz. Let's take a look at this game here. So Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, no Rudy Gobert, it looks like. I don't know if he's confirmed out, but yeah, it just says he's very unlikely to play. But 5.5 point spread, 223.5 over under, so pretty like average numbers, I'd say. But center going against the Utah Jazz and Whiteside. So let's take a look at this here. So season long centers going against Utah. I'm not sure how centers usually fare against Whiteside, by the way. So I take a look at that number and who they just played. I don't remember who they just played. I feel like it's right on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember, but you can take a look at that game and see how he's been against other centers. But always do your own research. Look more into these props. Don't go off of directly what I say. Like, I usually only take like 1 or 2 of these and put them in the Patreon just because I make like my final cuts for the day. And they just don't always make it. So it's also really early in the day. Like this, it's not even 11 a.m. yet. So, but yeah, Utah Jazz here, allowing some of the most points season long to the center position. How about the last 7? They're allowing the 4th most points in the last 7. So that's a really, really good spot. But again, take a look at where Whiteside's at. But Jarrett Allen is a pretty good spot. And some stats here, 59% hitting this season. He's 6 for 10 in his last 10, I believe. And he's 1 for 1 versus Utah this season, but he had 17. So it could be a very, very big sweat game today. So just kind of be aware of that. So it was also a sweat last time I took him. I think I took him against the Kings right there. And he had 18 points. I'm pretty sure I did. I think it was. Or I put him in Memphis. I took him the other day on the Patreon. It worked out well. I think he was in one of the power play entries too. But so let's move on here. Let's go with our final point prop. That's also an under. And this guy, I've been taking his unders like crazy. I love taking Kevin Porter unders because he sucks. Put it plain and simple. I also recommend locking this in right before game time just in case there's a last minute like Houston Rocket player going on the reserve list or something like that, because that'll obviously up his value quite a bit. So wait a little bit to take this under, but he has been not even coming close to hitting this. So especially I took him right there. I know I did because it was back-to-back games and a guy who's not been hitting this at all. But he started out at 14.5, then he dropped down to 13.5, and today he's 12.5. So he's kind of dropped down a lot, but he's averaging 9 in his last 5. He hasn't been hitting this at all. Let's go over the stats first here. He's 38% at hitting this season, and he is 1 for 10 in his last 10 at hitting at least 13 points. So it's a pretty good spot for him to go under. It's kind of safe to say, I would say. But yeah, so he needs 13 points to go over, but we want to have 12 or less. So let's take a look at this game here. So Kevin Porter, point guard, going against the Spurs. We already took a look at this game. Over under, not exactly the best for taking an under. We'd kind of want a bigger spread for taking the under. So that not looking as good. Let's take a look at point guard points that the Spurs are allowing here. And they're actually allowing a lot of points to the Spurs, or that to the point guard position that the Spurs are allowing here. And the Spurs last 7 allowing the second most amount of points to the point guard position. So this is one that I'm actually going to go ahead and not touch today. I just don't feel comfortable touching this one with such a good matchup. So I think I'm going to give Kevin Porter a break today and come back to him probably the game after. Maybe he'll have a pretty good game and then ups his point value a little bit, and I'll hop right back on the under when he's got a little bit of a harder matchup. So we'll see. But Kevin Porter is one that I've been liking for unders recently, but today I think is a day that we're just not going to go ahead and touch him. So let's go ahead and move on here to our last and final prop here. And this one I really haven't been playing, but I've seen a lot of people taking it recently. It's worked out pretty well. So I'm actually going to take a look at this one and see how this one fares. And it's Jaylen Brown. So 6.5 rebounds. I've seen a lot of people like him at 6 rebounds, which is what he was at, or 5.5 rebounds. But he's at 6.5 today. So averaging 10 in his last 5. Going up against the Pacers. He just played the Pacers 2 days ago and had 15 rebounds against them. So he's got 11, 6, 7, 11, and 15 in his last 5. So 4 out of 5 hit rate in his last 5. Some quick stats. He's 7 for 10 at hitting this in his last 10. He's 41% hitting this season, but he stepped it up a lot recently. He's been rebounding a lot more. And he had 15 in his last matchup versus Indiana, which I believe was his only matchup this season. So let's take a look at this here. Where is that Boston game? It's right here. All right. Also, by the way, I don't know why I didn't say this earlier, but the picks on Patreon usually come out around 6 to 6:15 every night. So you guys have about an hour to 55 minutes-ish to go ahead and throw in your entries on prizepicks because they don't lock in until 7:10. So that's when I usually do it, as long as the earliest game is 7. Otherwise, I do it usually an hour before game time. So like if the earliest game is at 6, then I'll usually post around 5:15-ish. But just letting you guys know that if you guys are still interested in doing the Patreon. But Jaylen Brown, shooting guard going against the Indiana Pacers, 3-point spread, 210.5 over under. Let's take a look at this here. So shooting guard rebounds against the Pacers here. So shooting guard rebound against the Pacers. What are they allowing? So right here, they're allowing a little bit of a harder matchup there against the shooting guard. And then last 7 here. Against the Pacers, they're a little bit right in the middle here. A little bit on the easier side, but that's literally because of Jaylen Brown. So that 15 number kind of bumped it up a little bit there for their defensive matchup right there to rebounds to shooting guard. So yeah, Jaylen Brown, I think he's in a pretty good spot to go ahead and hit this over, but I don't know if I'm personally going to take it. There's just something that doesn't sit right with me about this. I don't really know. It's probably the shooting guard rebounds at such a high number. I don't know. It's a little bit sketchier to me, but I think he is still in a pretty good spot. The numbers say so, but we'll have to see coming up tonight. So that's going to do it for today's video, man. Appreciate you watching. Again, if anyone is new, if you guys liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. Those are things that help me out. The Patreon link is in the description. The Prize Picks link is in the description. I definitely recommend joining Prize Picks if you guys are already joining. Definitely use code DOMG when you guys do go ahead and sign up. That's your first deposit, 100% up to $100. But that's going to do it, man. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.